Hello and welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast Minisodes. My name is Vera and I'm joined as always by my two murderous co-hosts, Katie.
Hello.
And Livy.
Well, it's that kind of quarantine, I guess, now, huh?
Yep,
We've reached
that. The murderous.
the cabin fever stage. The all work and no play.
Well, play, that's an interesting thing because we're going to be talking about Killing Eve today. And there's a lot of murder play there.
That's true. Murder is actually the thing you do for fun.
Yes.
In Killing Eve.
Yes, that's right. I'm excited to talk about this. What's going on with this prompt?
It's a very simple prompt from our patron Jennifer. She asks us to talk about Killing Eve.
Whoa!
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And so we shall.
Yeah, that's
Thank you,
what we're going to be
Jennifer.
doing
Thank you.
today. Killing Eve. Wow. This is a show that's been on for 3 seasons.
3 seasons.
And
The third one just finished airing.
Yeah.
And we just
we
finished
just finished watching
watching
it.
it.
We were a
Finished
little
it.
bit late. Yeah, we were.
They
it took
put
a
it
while.
on early because of the pandemic, no?
Yes, that's
It's
right.
like a treat.
Yeah, I think a few things.
If I understand that correctly.
I feel like a few networks and
Okay.
studios did stuff like that, but yeah.
Yeah, you can have a little Killing Eve as
Oh
a
yeah,
treat.
didn't Fiona Apple do that with her album too? Or
well,
it was originally going to drop when it dropped,
Yeah,
but
and
her
they were like,
people were
"Don't
like,
do
"Don't
it."
do it"
And
because of the
then she was like,
pandemic.
"No,
She was like,
I'm
"Nah,
gonna do it."
I'm going to do it. I
And
love
it was-
Killing Eve. I'm going to drop it."
yeah, exactly correct. We haven't even drank these martinis.
No, but
We've
it's
had,
enough.
like-
It's enough.
we have a
we've
nice-
smelled them and it's already in our pores.
We have nice vodka martinis with a twist here. It felt right for Killing Eve.
I
for
just
some
realized
reason.
why
And
it
nice-
felt,
yeah.
why it feels right for me.
What?
Is that I associate these little coupe glasses with that photo of Phoebe Waller-Bridge after she won her Emmy.
Oh, with the
The cigarette and the coupe glass.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Cigarettes are bad.
Cigarettes are
that
bad, but
picture
oh
is
boy, she
great.
made them look good.
Maybe she was just holding it for the gram.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Maybe it was a candy cigarette.
Well, Killing Eve is all about, indulging your appetites even
is.
when it's bad
Very
for you.
true.
Ooh, interesting.
And it has characters who smoke, like Nico,
Oh, you mean
Nico.
mustache
mustachio
from
husband.
here on out.
Okay, so
Yeah, okay,
Killing
yeah.
Eve. My goodness. One might say it's an award-winning
It is
program.
an
of
award-winning
television.
One might say.
It absolutely
One is saying
One
it.
can say.
Yeah.
It is. It's kind of surprising because like when it first aired, you're like, this is so good, but like no way is it going to be like recognized by the Academy, of television, motion arts and sciences or whatever it's called.
The what now?
But it is. But it has been. It's
Yeah,
fucking like racked up awards.
It's become kind of an Emmy like steamroller.
Yeah.
I think this year Fiona Shaw got in for the show as well. So
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
It's nominated this year for season 3?
I think season 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
really?
think it made the cutoff.
Well, okay, it makes
Yeah.
sense for her then. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big season for Fiona Shaw.
Fiona Shaw one.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
about-
does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're jumping the gun a little.
A little bit, yeah.
It's a Carolyn season for sure.
Definitely. I would say Carolyn came off #1 best.
She's already won a BAFTA
Oh, for
Killing
Killing
for
Eve.
Killing Eve, just for being there.
That's
being
all.
British,
Talk about-
or she's Irish, but yeah.
I just esteemed actress Fiona Shaw.
Yep.
Long career, love good things, content, great stuff, great actress. I just associate her with that crazy Black Dahlia movie. What was it?
I forgot about
What was that movie?
Black Dahlia.
No, it was called Black Dahlia.
Yeah, starring American Beauty, right?
She was the Black
Yeah.
Dahlia.
No, she was the Black
but
Dahlia.
also-
You guys, no, friends. That's American Horror Story.
Oh.
No, you're right.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out there.
That's so
Tell me if
funny.
it's true. Mia Kirshner,
Is Mia Kirshner?
I want to say, is in the movie somehow.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. This is such
I
a
could be
tangent.
wrong, I
I am
could be
so
wrong.
sorry.
I'm
It is
blanking
Mia
on-
Kirshner.
Yes!
Yeah.
Mia Kirshner. Who's the director?
It's a name.
Somebody.
It's like, who is it? De Palma? No, not De Palma.
Yes, it's
De Palma.
it's called Black Dahlia. Anyway,
Okay,
no, Black Dahlia.
I
well-
mostly remember Hilary Swank and Fiona Shaw.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
Hilary
it's Hilary
Swank.
Swank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
Well,
if anybody at all listening has seen that, then you'll know why. It was just like
It's a really
Very memorable.
just a performance happened.
It's something.
But yeah, very different than Carolyn.
That's so funny that I thought Mina Suvari was in it. I just assumed she plays the Black Dahlia across
everywhere.
all media.
You're right.
I also said that because I also just rewatched that.
Did you really?
American Horror Story.
Oh, American Horror Story. I thought Black Dahlia.
Oh, we've lost it.
Yeah.
We haven't
Wow.
even started. We've had 2 sips.
Nobody rewatches the Black Dahlia.
I might now just to see that whatever that scene was. I can't. Anyway, sorry.
Yes.
Killing Eve. What is it about?
Killing Eve. Yes. What is it about? We have a summary brought to you by IMDb.
Our fave, IMDb. Eve is a bored, whip-smart security services operative whose desk-bound job doesn't fulfill her fantasies of being a spy. Villanelle is a talented killer who clings to the luxuries her violent job affords her. These two fierce women, equally obsessed with each other, will go head-to-head in an epic game of cat and mouse, toppling the typical spy action thriller.
Nice.
And
nice.
They are based on a series of books.
Yes. Books called The Villanelle Novels by Luke Jennings.
Codename Villanelle.
Yeah.
They were novellas, I think, originally.
Okay.
But now he's, like, published sequels that I think actually in the titles are, like, Killing Eve, colon, Villanelle books that I write.
Yes.
And
Someone pay attention to me.
Got it. Because from my understanding, they have very little to kind of do with the show as I went on. Like,
My sense of them, I know one of the only things I really know about them is that, like, Carolyn doesn't exist in them.
Okay.
There's a guy called Richard
Oh.
instead.
but Eve does?
man.
Eve is
Okay.
Eve, yeah.
Eve is Eve.
They are
Okay.
about 2 women, which is means they can't be that
Okay.
that
Different,
bad.
yeah.
They must be
Okay.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, Phoebe
Alright.
Waller-Bridge was immediately like, let's get even more women in here. Which
And
is a
who
good
is-
instinct.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge. We've mentioned her
Yes.
several times.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the showrunner of season. She like launched this show basically, right? She made it be the show that y'all fell in love with.
Season 1.
Yeah.
And wrote
Yeah.
it.
She is also the writer and actress of Fleabag.
Yes.
Well, won her awards.
Vera's
Correct.
least favorite show for
I
some
do
reason.
not like
You-
Fleabag.
Have you seen
And
it?
I'm going on record to say that Hot Priest is not hot. Maybe
You've said that before.
maybe he's
already
British
gone
hot.
on record with
Okay,
this,
I'm
Vera.
doubling down. He is British hot, if anything,
Oh my
but
God.
not hot at
Okay,
all.
define British hot.
Like not that hot, but okay in Britain. He's like a 7 in Britain, but like a 2 everywhere else. And certainly in Italy, where there are literally hot priest calendars, he's like a nothing there.
Well,
We've
we're
seen
all a
those.
nothing in
yes,
Italy.
Yes, it's true. All right, so
Also,
yes,
I wanted to give a shout out to Solo, a Star Wars story.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge
She
is
is the
solo.
best.
she's
She's
a lot more. She's like
She
taken off.
doctored the script for
yeah.
the new Bond movie.
Yeah, whenever you like something in the new Bond movie, I bet it's her.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. She's
Killing
pretty
Eve,
awesome.
Producers got super lucky in that they recruited her to be the head writer for the show like early.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'd only done Fleabag as a play at that point. So
Yeah.
like this is like a win for everybody because
Right.
like she kind of become super famous the same year as Killing Eve came out, and and I feel like Fleabag and Killing Eve kind of like fed into each other for popularity.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like those two shows are totally different, and therefore it's kind of amazing, like her sort of talent. I, prefer the not
For
Fleabag
one
parts.
side of her talent to the other.
Yes.
She thought about casting herself in it and decided
As what?
I actually
Eve?
really love this fact.
Villanelle?
She felt the age difference was really important, and that she was neither old enough to play Eve or young enough to play Villanelle.
Interesting.
Well,
I
you
feel
know
like
what?
she has an age kink.
Oh,
Okay.
I like it.
That's my read
Alright.
on that.
I like that. But also,
Alright.
I respect, and I think it would be way worse if she was in it. Granted, she's like fine actress. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's fine.
Wow,
She's
Vera.
fine.
Jamming with faint praise.
She's an Emmy Award-winning
Yeah.
actress,
Some might say
aka she's great
for that reason.
because of she looks at the
I
camera
haven't
and
seen
talks.
Fleabag. Again, I'm gonna have to say I haven't.
Fleabag
seen
is the
Fleabag.
serious Miranda. We
So-
decided.
We did decide
Serious
that.
Miranda.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we talked about that.
Yes.
We're
And we
repeating
haven't
ourselves.
seen Fleabag season 2, which everyone says is kind of the
Okay.
amazing season
Okay.
of
She
Fleabag.
wears a jumpsuit and fucks a not hot priest.
Oh my God.
I get it. I
Just
get
because
it.
he's not to your taste doesn't mean he's not hot.
He's not. But I appreciate Phoebe Waller-Bridge getting her buddy Andrew Scott this role, which put him out there and such
Huh. Okay.
to American
So
audiences.
you're wishing Andrew Scott well.
Yeah, I don't have anything
don't ill
against
will
him.
towards him.
But he's not hot priest.
Okay.
But,
all right.
okay.
we covered it.
Okay.
Can we talk about these women
Yes.
in this show instead?
So it's important to discuss the casting, sure. So Phoebe wanted to have an age difference between the two characters, Eve and Villanelle.
Okay.
So she did this really awesome thing where she cast Sandra Oh.
Okay. So Sandra Oh was cast first.
Oh,
She was.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh.
Sandra
oh,
Oh
she was.
was cast first. I love her so much.
Yes.
Anybody who doesn't know who Sandra Oh is played Christina on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Very famously.
That's right. She played the friend in Under the Tuscan Sun,
And
who was
Sideways,
pregnant.
right?
Yes.
She's also in
also
that.
many roles, but I think most.
Cat Fight. I liked her in Cat Fight.
I'm just trying to be most broadly might
Yeah,
be
everybody
known
knows
as
her from
Christina.
Christina. Okay. Which she also pulled a fucking amazing performance.
Yeah, I love Christina
Like,
so much.
Amazing.
I
So
love
she's like
her.
super. Oh, also amazing SNL appearance.
Recently, amazing SNL.
constantly
Don't do
quote
it though right now.
Yeah, let's
Just-
not do it. Don't
just
spoil
know
it for the
that
people.
She was amazing in it. Sandra Oh has this like pretty famous quote about being cast in Killing Eve, which is that her agent's like, hey, there's this role in the show Killing Eve,
Right.
and you should be up for it. And she's like, cool, which doctor or friend do I get to play as an Asian American actress? And they're like, nah, bitch, you play Eve. And that's fucking amazing.
That's part of the quote.
No, it's not that. But like she was like shocked that she was the lead
Ugh,
sort
that's
of.
upsetting.
And
But yeah.
hey, now she has a
That's
Golden
it, yeah.
Globe
Yes.
and a Screen Actors Guild Award.
And I think also first Korean actress to win.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
That-
cool.
Yeah.
It's so
Pro-
cool.
Like yeah, just in
And
general.
she always brings her her sweet little parents to
Yeah.
the award shows, and you can see how proud of them,
Oh.
proud of her they are. I'm proud of them.
Yeah. So then,
She
as
deserves so many awards.
oh my
She-
god, yes.
Was
Like,
she nominated for stuff for Grey's Anatomy?
I think she was nominated, but like.
I don't know.
I'm skeptical.
Really?
I don't
Like,
know.
like season
Maybe-
2?
I don't
like,
know.
I feel like early on, like around season 2, Grey's Anatomy was nominated for things.
It's true that
But
you'd think
then-
if anyone would be nominated out of that cast, it would be her.
Well, it would be like her and Ellen Pompeo. And I think like they did make the rounds. I could be completely
Anyway, I'm
wrong.
sorry. I'm off
But I'm just
topic
saying that like around then, it was still like a serious show.
This is off topic.
Grey's Anatomy.
The point is that Sandra Oh deserves many awards.
Yeah.
And many accolades.
And she's
And
so
many
good.
lead roles.
Yeah. She's really fantastic, and she like brings it in this show.
She has
And-
such a like specific quality, which is like great in this show, in that she is just she's like a little weird. Like I just feel like the way she says lines is slightly weird, and it really works. Like she kind of always sounds sarcastic, even when that's like not her intention. I feel like
I
as
get
a
it. I
character.
believe that. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're right. She's also really good, like being stressed out.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Which is like
and Eve is constantly
Stressed out. Yeah. So the other half of this show,
The killing.
the killing part, is Villanelle, aka Oksana Astankova,
Hey.
played by Jodie Comer, who is a wee actress.
How wee is she?
She's pretty young.
I
man.
was shocked to find out she was.
If you look,
like,
if you look up her age,
26
now you have something
at
like
the
that.
beginning of the show. 20.
Are you talking about the actress?
Yeah, Jodie Comer.
Okay, yeah. If you look up her age, you start quoting Miranda when you're like 1990.
Oh,
You're
no.
born.
No, Google her.
Yeah, it's 93.
Wow.
It's real bad.
Okay. She is a youth.
Oh
small.
dear. So to contextualize, she was 2
Yeah.
years old when Xena Warrior Princess, the television
Oh,
show,
that's
Yes.
upsetting.
Yes.
This is
So
a Xena
it's
podcast, though.
quite an age difference.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah, she's like half
Yeah.
Sandra O's age.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
I honestly don't think about it, but that just might be something that's to me personally.
I do think Jodie Comer reads as older, which
Yeah.
is
She does.
odd, even though, Villanelle is such an
performance.
arrested development
But
character.
that's why she reads
Yeah.
older. Is that
Yeah.
like she's
She's like, I am
an
sweet
adult
baby,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, you're
I am
not.
baby.
No, you're not.
Okay.
But then she is. Twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
So, we might know her from, she's in Dr. Foster with Saran Jones.
Okay.
That's on Netflix. But really, I think she was, really known for The White Princess, which is
Okay.
the sequel to The White Queen.
And that was before Killing Eve.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's on Stars, so that's, her own sort of, big sort of role. I guess if, they always push those series, White Queen, White Princess, Spanish Princess, as kind of like Game of Thrones. If you like Game of Thrones,
You
you
might
can
like
watch
these
these.
actual historical
Yes.
dramas.
Yes,
On
exactly.
the Stars app when you're trying to watch Outlander, and you get the Stars sizzle reel.
But I highly recommend The White Queen. That's like Rebecca Ferguson's launch.
Yeah, that was
She's
good.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, and the Spanish Princess has Harriet Walter.
Who's in season 3 of Killing Eve? We'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get
there's
there.
a lot of overlap. We'll be talking about this stuff again.
Okay.
So anyway, Jodie Comer, she's great. She's a surprise. Now she has an Emmy because she's really awesome as Villanelle.
She's fantastic.
And I feel like she's, kind of leaping into, I mean, this is like one of the shittier things that seems to happen when a show takes off, which is, everybody was so happy for Sandra Oh and gives her awards, but now Jodie Comer is getting A-list parts, in big movies.
Yeah, because she's young and blonde.
Young and blonde. And and her role is the kind of shiny, wacky character.
For sure.
I saw her name as one of the top contenders for Young Furiosa in the Mad Max
Furiosa
Fury
film.
Road
Don't even
sequel,
call it Mad
the
Max.
Furiosa film. Because they don't want to de-age Charlize, they want to cast young.
I was going to say something that's ostensibly a big spoiler for the Star Wars franchise. Can I do that? Can I
Star
3, 2,
Wars?
1 spoiler?
It's been a while.
If-
Star Wars?
Yeah, for Star Wars.
Jodie Comer is in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I know it's
She
shocking.
is.
She is, and it was funny. It's one of the many.
We laughed at this
Yeah.
when it
But
happened.
it's because we associate her with this, which is unfair. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you are trying to, for some reason, listeners, avoid
Star Wars spoilers?
Star Wars sequel trilogy spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker, please tune out in 3, 2, 1. She appears in that little flashy as Rey's mom.
Yeah.
The big thing for years and years and years that fandom was like, who are Rey's parents? And then we find out all this crap in Rise of Skywalker, and one of the things we find out is that her mom is Villanelle for some reason.
And her dad is son of
fucking
Palpatine.
hysterical.
So
Palpatine Jr.
And I say this as a person who enjoyed that movie on a certain level on which I am able to enjoy things. It was very funny to see her be this person.
It
that
was surprising.
That was being speculated about for all time. No one expected Villanelle.
yeah. Maybe if you were standing Jodie Comer, you wouldn't have known that she's in a
That
Star
she filmed
Wars.
something, yeah.
But I did not know.
But that's big.
Everybody
That's
say,
big.
I just remembered that Matt Smith was supposedly in Rise of Skywalker.
I think they cut him
They
out.
cut him out.
He
He's
was
gone.
Oh shoot.
Who was he?
I remember. I think he was supposed to. No. My coworker Charlie is gonna kill me because he told me all this stuff and now I can't remember. He was definitely part of it and then he wasn't.
Okay, I hope people have tuned back in because we're done talking about Star Wars spoilers. Although Harriet Walter is amazing in The Force Awakens.
It is all connected.
Yeah.
She's like literally amazing, and I was sad that she didn't come back in every other one.
A
She was
scene
this doctor.
stealer.
Literal
One
scene
scene.
stealer as
I
this
hope
doctor
someone has written fics
treating
about her.
Chewie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good, so good. All right, so the other important character is Carolyn Martins, played by Dame Fiona Shaw. We just talked about her as Black Dahlia.
Yep.
Somebody in that movie.
You might know her, Liv. You take this one.
She is Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter movies.
She is?
But
She's very good in that.
She's an extremely famous British
Yeah.
actress who also does lots of theater.
Lots of theater.
And yeah, is just, serious and impressive. And
She's super awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, and she's queer.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's Constantine, who is like an amazing scene stealer himself.
And he's Eve's, excuse me. He's Villanelle's handler, basically.
Yeah, he's played by Kim Bodnia, and that's, as I said, a dude, Danish dude. And one, if you're really into like Danish things,
Is anyone
He's
in
in
this
the
show
bridge.
Russian?
I think the people who played Villanelle's parents and family
Okay.
literally are.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad there was like some actual Russian representation.
Yes.
I wonder what they had to say about everybody's accents.
They do all have accent.
Accent come
Vera,
through.
you can...
Well, let's talk about
I
ultimate
actually,
accent.
even though Constantine is named Constantine, I never thought he was Russian. Just maybe because...
Well, that one time he gets a phone call and the guy's like, Kostya. And that's like,
and that's
yeah.
how you're like, hey.
Yeah, exactly. But you
Yeah,
probably
Dave.
didn't think he was Russian because he's played by a Danish guy
Yeah.
who's just doing his Danish accent.
and Jodie Comer's doing whatever lovely thing she's doing.
Whatever that is.
Which in the first season I thought was French.
Yes.
Because so much of it is set in Paris.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But was she at any point like kind of doing a different accent before you kind of knew anything
I think she
about
was
her?
speaking a lot of French.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
why.
I think we
That's
attribute it
that's
as
all.
like she's Russian but grew up in French, so she's like a weird
Okay.
accent.
Sure.
Yeah,
that
we'll
thing that
accept
happens.
it
Sure. I
as-
just
But we
remember being
don't know.
shocked
Thing.
that she was a British actress.
Yes.
But finding that out.
And I
was
mean,
oh my
like,
God.
she's, she has a very, her like, whatever Villanelle accent, it's like its own thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
very
It's not,
specific.
I don't
And-
know.
And it works for the character.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
would have
Yeah.
just her own thing.
Yeah.
own
going.
accent. But maybe it's because she speaks so many languages, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, she's very, like, fluent in everything.
I do wonder, I mean, like, certainly, our perspective, obviously, as Americans, when she speaks with an American accent, it isn't note perfect. And I wonder if that's actually true across the board with all of her various accents
Well, I think we
and
heard
languages.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly when she spoke Scottish or whatever, that seemed okay to my
It
American ear.
Yeah, it sounded good to us, but you wonder.
But reigning champion of Russian accent is DASHA Duzaran, right? Played by Dame Harriet Walter.
Season
Is
three.
that,
so good.
Are you saying that's more authentic?
Yeah,
No.
that's the,
are
Boris
not.
and Natasha accent,
Yeah.
and therefore the most authentic.
Oh my God,
Okay.
Vera. Okay, if you say so.
Because she went in and she was like, I do Russian accent.
She lives in Yurt with
Yeah.
Mariah.
Mariah's Xena. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
she's.
her.
I mean, we'll get into season 3, but she's definitely a gift to that show.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dasha.
Yeah. So these are like sort of like the main. Well, I mean, I put her as main because she's main to me.
I mean,
but,
she's a main player in
she's
season
definitely
three.
But there's like other people who
She's
circle
a
the
main
show.
player
I
in
mean,
a
there's like a
third.
lot of other actors on here, but I wanted to signal those out because
Yeah,
they
there's-
are huge.
Those are our mains.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, okay, this show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are we leaving out so far?
Well, I would love to talk about the choice of this show, which is a choice
general?
that is very different
Kind
from
of
any
a
other choice.
defining
To-
It
production
is.
choice.
It literally is a defining choice.
I call this the galaxy brain
What are we talking
way
about?
of making
What's-
television.
What does that mean?
Oh,
Galaxy?
the choice.
The,
Yeah,
the
the
choice.
The
Yeah,
galaxy brain.
capitalize it.
I get
What does
it.
that mean? What is galaxy brain?
Galaxy
Galaxy
brain
brain.
is like when you have like crazy thoughts that don't really make sense but seem really profound, and maybe they're smart, but maybe they're
it's
not.
all-
So you're
like,
saying
connected.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge was like high one night and was like, "Oh, guys,
But I can't make this show anymore. What if I hire another lady, but
then I hired another lady, and then another lady.
So basically what we are trying to say is that every season of Killing Eve has a different showrunner.
And that is intentional.
And it was a decision, and possibly because Phoebe Waller-Bridge is very, very busy.
She got famous.
I think that
And got very
may
famous.
be a part of it.
But she didn't have to make it be that everyone... Like, for instance,
Right.
Shonda Rhimes... Speaking of Grey's Anatomy,
Okay.
Shonda Rhimes, became Shonda Rhimes while making Grey's Anatomy. However, once she became Shonda Rhimes and was like, I get the millions over there at Netflix and whatnot,
That was way later.
Christo
Netflix.
Vernoff, you take over Grey's Anatomy.
Well, she made a bunch of spin-offs first.
Right.
Yeah, but
She became so busy.
regardless, she was like not there at Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
But her
That's sort
her
of the
number
way
two
of showrunners.
became number one.
If
Yeah,
you
that's
start making lots
typical.
of shows,
Yes.
you have people that are, unless you're like maybe Ryan Murphy.
Well, he has lieutenants too,
That's true.
who he empowers.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like one person kind of coming in and taking over, there's this sort of intentional decision made that every single season would have a different guiding hand, which is very interesting as a choice. Not one that I think the Warrior podcast is super into for this show, because I think it accounts for a lot of inconsistency in tone as the seasons go on, and then also a level of apologies if you love this show so much, like decreasing quality.
Yeah, but I mean,
Continuously.
the thing is, like, it's such a gamble because, like, it could have very well been an amazing experiment
Yeah.
that worked.
It's cool.
For sure.
It's
Every-
a cool. That's why I
and
say it's
especially-
Galaxy Brain. It could have worked. It's neat.
And I love
I
that
think
it's
it worked for
all
season
female
2.
showrunners for this show,
I think
for sure.
Yeah, and the fact that like she gives young sort of like upstarts this huge opportunity.
And I think it in that sense it has worked. In that, like, Emerald Fennell, who's the second season showrunner, like, went on to make a movie. Like,
Hey.
she's cool. She's kind of anointed now as like
Yeah.
a creative force. I don't know if the same will happen to the season 3 showrunner.
While we're on this subject, I do want to point out, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this just a little bit, and especially with this latest season, to kind of point out that, like, this is a really cool idea, and I absolutely love that there's lots of female showrunners, and
It's
like I
always
believe a
female.
very
Always a woman.
female heavy writing staff, but it is like all white.
Are they really all blonde?
both besides Phoebe Waller-Bridge, they've been blonde.
Vera points out
ladies.
that, and
Wow.
including their writing staff as well, that it is like an entirely white creative staff for the most part, basically, and it was increasingly problematic, especially in season 3. I think that throws a lot of focus on Villanelle and not on Eve, and it also led to Sandra Oh having to take a bunch of responsibility upon herself to give comments to people about her character that, like, only she would kind of really understand, as being like the only Korean and also Asian Canadian. She's Canadian. She's not American.
Canadian.
She's Canadian.
Oh, sorry. I thought she was totally American. Canadians are America's hat.
Eve is Canadian, I think. Or no, Eve is not Canadian. Eve is American. Don't listen to me.
Eve is clearly supposed to be a white lady, I think, right?
North
So there you go.
American.
I think in the
book, she's Eve
novels,
Polastri. The only literal reason that you were like, oh, we have Nico here is because
to account for her last name.
In any case, that, like, she had, like, given comments about, in season 3, Eve ends up working at this, like, dumpling restaurant and, like, had stuff going on there that she commented on, and then, like, down to stuff where she was commenting to the sound designers about, like, I think she told them one time that there was the sound effect of her walking around in shoes in her apartment, and she said, like, that her character wouldn't do that. Like, stuff like that.
That's
So it's
cool.
like they need to fix that a bit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true,
She
yeah.
should-
I mean,
have to
they
be
have
doing
to. Well, again, we'll get
Well,
into
she can
it.
be involved, but, you know.
Yeah, I think season 3 especially has major issues where it comes to Eve's character, and yeah,
I think season 3 has
definitely need
major
to fix-
issues, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go back. Let's rewind.
But it's noticeable that it affects Eve more than it affects Villanelle.
Agreed.
Right.
And I think that is also partly to do with, like, just, like, that character being that character. Like, you sort of understand, I don't know. That's why you need to hire, like, diverse staffs. It's just, like, yeah, it's a problem.
Okay, so let's rewind and discuss how each season has a different showrunner.
Okay.
And not only showrunner, but I mean, look, let's be real. I didn't cross-reference every single working part of the show.
Everybody's different.
But I did cross-reference the number one thing is, like, obviously, like, showrunner.
I know there were new directors for season 3.
New director. What else? Must be season 2?
I don't know between season 1 and 2.
Probably
Yeah.
if season 3 was like that. But the other thing that really jumps, and because it was such an integral part of the show in season 1, and again, season 1 is the show that you're like, are introduced to, and therefore you think that's what it is.
This is the show. I've imprinted on it.
Yes.
It will always be the
And
show.
that
Exactly.
does not mean that it cannot change and you can adapt with it as long as
Okay.
it's, you know,
But the
Interesting
other
and good.
thing that is very important for the show is the costumes. And every single season had a different costume designer.
every single season.
Every single season as
Okay.
well.
This show is out of its mind.
It's out of its mind a little
Wow.
bit. A
It's
little
like
bit.
an anthology show, but with all the same characters.
Yeah.
So let's dial it back a little bit. I feel like and that's a super great thing to mention in terms of the costume design
Yeah.
because the fashion was a huge part of it. And
Right.
I think when we initially started watching it, and Liv, you can kind of maybe help me out here a little bit because this is your area and fandom.
I know where it's
That
going. I
was
know where
like,
it's going.
This is Hannibal, but funnier and with women, and the fashion exists instead of the food.
Yes.
Yes. That was definitely the analogy that people made. Yeah. Is
And-
that Villanelle woos Eve via fashion, where Hannibal.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not
It's
even
taking
like
us like a
I don't
half
know if
an
she's
hour or more.
wooing her with fashion, but like
She
everything
says
that
her
Villanelle.
clothes.
I wanted to say
but
that
like everything that Villanelle
big
is
moment.
fashion.
Yeah.
While everything that Hannibal is like amazing preparation of
But
food
also
murders.
some fashion.
Food. Yeah. I wanted to say it took us maybe a half an hour or more to actually get
Yes.
to this point, but like Hannibal as well, this show is, in the beginning especially, and increasingly so, not subtextually queer AF. And I assume is the reason that we have been asked to podcast about it
Yes.
in connection with Xena Warrior
Yes.
podcast. Yeah. Because the whole thing, and I think the overriding fascination and like attraction to the show for a lot of people, especially like queer viewers, especially queer female viewers, or female identifying viewers, is that the tension between Eve and Villanelle and their sort of obsessions with each other and this sort of will they, won't they kind of thing and like what is going on here. And it's very dark and it's certainly problematic, but that's the point. Is the
point.
crux of the show is the relationship between
Right.
Eve and Villanelle in this very intense romantic and sexual way. Psychosexual?
Yeah.
Psychosexual.
Female obsession.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that so many previously done cop investigates murderer things are always men, and it's always subtextual in that way where it's like you're getting too close, that thing like Manhunter, and fucking the inspiration for Hannibal,
Right.
Manhunter.
And also Manhunter.
That's confusing.
Who did two different Manhunters.
Manhunters.
This show is female hunter because the thing about Eve is that she's obsessed with, like, she's interested in female serial killers,
Right,
which are
that's her
very
thing.
rare
She loves Eileen Wuornos.
and different, because there's not so many
there aren't,
female.
And that's kind of the original tension in the show is that Eve is the one saying this killer is a woman and no one believes her.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, originally Eve worked for MI5, and then they were like, she figured out that there was a bunch of killings are done by like the one, aka Villanelle, and it's good. It's very good. And then she like later gets a job with Carolyn for MI6.
Yeah. This is where I wanted to talk about our spoiler policy earlier. Like, what is our spoiler policy for this?
I think I don't know.
This
I
could
think
be part of the.
spoiling.
No, this is part of the
we've
conversation.
kind of sprinkled spoilers throughout, so this might this episode might not have a spoiler corner the way we've done previously.
All right.
We hope
Beware.
you've seen all 3 seasons. If you haven't,
maybe we might spoil you a little
but
bit.
at the same time, this show is so kind of labyrinthine in its plotting that I feel like if you're not familiar with it at all, you probably won't retain any of this information. So you're fine.
Yeah, and like we're not gonna go so deep with it. It's just, you know.
And also, we don't really understand everything. Like, what is the 12? Are there 12 people
I hope
somewhere?
so.
Who's
I hope
in
so,
it?
yeah.
Are certain people still in it or not in it? Are we
Yeah,
supposed to still
there's
suspect?
a lot.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
All right, what are you guys' favorite parts of like the show? Let's begin with season 1.
Oh, geez.
I was very into the friendship that Eve had with her coworker Bill, which is only in the first few episodes. He's played by a wonderful actor named David Haig. They have this like interesting relationship. It's kind of hard to describe, but like they're very close. There's like no sexual tension whatsoever.
Right.
He feels very much like her moral compass, which
You said compass correctly.
I did say compass.
Did you
correctly.
try?
I've been working on it.
Oh my God.
I know.
Is it incorrect the way you do
we've
it,
already
though?
talked
Yeah.
about this. Yes.
It is?
Yes. It's
Legitimately?
based on accents. This is kind of like a Villanelle territory
Got
accents.
This is an in-joke in among the 3 of us is that I say words very strangely sometimes.
Like compass instead of compass. All right, so yes, Bill is really great, and he comes to a tragic end in season 1 in an amazing
halfway
scene.
through, I think.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's It's literally brutal. It's very good in my opinion. It's a club. They're at a club. It's really packed, which is insane to think about now because
He's kind of like he's taken it upon himself to like track Villanelle down. He like sees her and follows her.
Yeah, she's in the club too. She sees this opportunity and she takes out a little knife and she like literally stabs the shit out of him. It's not just like a stab. It's like stab, 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 and it's like that's what's shocking about it.
I think like up until that point in the show, you'd seen Villanelle kill people, and it was sort of fun. You know, you were like enjoying it along with Villanelle, and suddenly that kind of like playful, murderous impulse was being directed against a character you like, and it was very horrifying.
Yeah,
it was like actually upsetting.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of season 1. I mean, it's just kind of like what builds as their attraction, Villanelle and Eve. So Eve discovers that Villanelle is the same person who does everything, and eventually Villanelle discovers that Eve is the one who figured it out, and hence now she's clicked on to Eve, right?
Yeah, it's that classic thing where it's like if you're smart enough to kind of see me as the author of my crimes, like I'm obsessed with you now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my favorite movie, Copycat, which is about murderers.
And also like being afraid to go outside your house,
exactly.
which makes
It's
it
a
like
very
the,
good movie, guys.
the movie of our time.
Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah.
amazing. So there's a moment where Eve goes to this hospital to interview this witness, right? And Villanelle is there to kill this witness, and they meet up in the bathroom.
It's a meet cute, sort of.
It's the first time they're like in the same room together, and I mean like conversing with each other in a way.
And something kind of transpires between them, even though they don't know who each other are. You feel it.
It's very because can you imagine like can you imagine having like your hair up and you're like washing your hands after like going to the bathroom or whatever?
We can all imagine
and
that.
a lady like I think she's dressed as like a housekeeping kind of thing.
A nurse, I think.
Oh, a nurse.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, somebody like next to you is like, "Oh, you'd look so much better with your hair down," or whatever she said. That would be really strange to you, but then you do it. Because, like, what?
She has a power over you.
Yeah. It's very good. And it's very good because, Villanelle herself, like, she's into that part because of her, like, past with a formative experience, right, with somebody who had like dark curly hair that's down, which really reminded me of in the book The Price of Salt. Therese is really
it's the basis of Carol.
Yes, exactly. She has a formative sort of experience pre-Carol and the Gloves, where like her like as a youth there was gloves involved with like a hot sister.
I remember the nerd
Yes.
stuff from that
Yeah, she
book.
gave her some gloves.
Yes.
It's like a thing.
Wow.
So formative experiences.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Villanelle definitely has a thing for Eve's hair. That's like kind of the first connection between
Yeah.
them.
And, you know, brunette, blonde. That's a thing.
That's a yeah.
This is Xena thing?
Xena thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a really...
By blonde, we mean Callisto.
Yes, which
Oh,
is...
good point.
Do you have any favorite moments of season 1, Katie?
Oh, geez. You've mentioned such good ones already. I mean, the end. Can I say the end?
Yes, can we... Because of... You mentioned
Spoilers,
Callisto.
3, 2,
I would love
1.
to talk about it.
I think that what was so good about season 1 is sort of these metaphors and signals and signs that perhaps get increasingly a little bit more on the nose as the show goes on with its different showrunners. But in the first season where everything is kind of like subtexty, and as we lovers of Xena are kind of like into that perhaps, the very end of the season ends with Eve and Villanelle in bed together, and Eve stabs her. It's a metaphor.
Yes.
It definitely is shot like a sex scene.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
a consummation of those two characters and their feelings.
Yeah, and as, you know, it reminded me, not kind of different context, but like same thing, like when I made a vid about like Xena and Callisto and other people, but when Xena stabs Callisto, that's like the penetration. Mm-hmm. And so this was the same
It's
thing.
the same thing. If you like to ship Xena Callisto, you might like this show. Mm-hmm. It's different dynamics, but
They're
some
both blonde and
similar
brunette.
dynamics that are very good.
Yeah.
Also, a big shout out in season 1 to the whole kitchen scene, which I feel like is kind of like the moment from that season, even more than the stabbing in the bed, because that's like kind of the first like openly queer moment.
Okay,
Like when
yeah.
when
Between
Villanelle
them?
sniffs Eve, like,
Yeah.
and Eve, like, I forget exactly how it works, but like, doesn't Eve like she gets like dumped in a tub?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
she's
Yes.
wet.
Yeah.
She's, Villanelle makes her like put on a dress.
Yeah.
like
It's a whole thing.
It's very.
You
There's
don't
a
like
knife
when
involved.
the people give people the dress.
This is the
or the
one.
outfit.
See, this is
It's
different.
okay.
Okay, I'll explain it to you.
There's not like a gross dude and a lady.
Usually, yes. The trope that I dislike is that a guy takes a woman hostage, happens to have a dress, often with like connotations like my dead wife used to wear this dress, and now I want you to wear it. And he
Gross.
puts her in the dress, or like basically makes her put on the dress. This is different. Obviously, like the gender, like you have
Yeah.
a woman sending a woman a dress, and that's a thing. Like Villanelle sends it to Eve. It's this much more kind of. It's an invitation. Like, don't you want to live my life? Don't you want to smell like me? Don't you want to look like me? Don't you want to kind of join me? And the dress symbolizes that. So when Eve finally puts it on, you're like,
Yeah.
she did it. And she's obviously wearing the perfume too.
Yeah. But at that point, she's also kind of like into it.
Oh,
which is-
yeah.
yeah.
She wants the, like, excuse to do
Yeah.
these things. She's been waiting.
She's like obsessed, but she's confused by her obsession and everything. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do think, like, that early kind of dynamic where you kind of get the sense that, like, these are all the impulses that Eve wants to act on anyway. And, like, Villanelle symbolizes them all. That's how it begins.
Right.
Is Eve just being like, I understand this person because I want to be this person.
Be her, fuck her, who knows? And yeah, and her, like, the opposite is like her stupid husband, Nico, with the mustache.
Nico.
So coming up season 1, season 2, as you mentioned, is showrun by Emerald Fennell, who is Camila Parker Bowles on The Crown.
Yes. It's a weird fact that
Yes.
is true. But she also has a movie that might come out eventually,
Oh
starring...
my god, it never came out?
I don't think so.
Wow.
What is that movie called?
Carey
Promising
Mulligan.
Young
The Promising
Woman.
Young Woman, yeah, which is great that she
with
did
Carey
that.
Mulligan, which looks really good and,
Yeah.
and might
Yeah.
eventually see the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an amazing lady who, like, clearly, you know, is on camera and off. It's really cool. Like, I love that kind of stuff. New costume designer. Season 1 was Phoebe DeGay.
A different Phoebe.
Yeah. And season 2 is Charlotte Mitchell, who does... Phoebe DeGay did The White Princess. So
Ooh,
that's
okay.
another
So there's
connection.
some overlap. Cool.
Okay.
Season 2, she did Harlots, season 2.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Okay. Pretty cool. And then... I thought season 2, I mean, at that point, I did not know that every season was going to be different.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
had
that
no
this was like
clue.
somebody who was taking the reins.
Yeah,
and
because
it's,
Phoebe
you know,
Waller-Bridge was obviously too busy. That
Yeah.
was kind of my assumption going into
Right.
season 2. Like, you accept that it was going to be a little different.
Yeah. But at the same time, it was like a little different and very similar, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was in the ballpark.
And it made sense to me, trajectory as like the story. So basically what you have is like now it's established Eve and Villanelle are like a thing. They're into each other or whatever in a weird way, but they can't get together. It's that old thing. Our two leads can't get together. We gotta like keep them apart. But it makes sense like how they did it so far in season 2, I thought.
And also they're kind of reeling from the rejection, which is obviously that Eve stabbed
Right.
Villanelle. So Villanelle kind of has to like metabolize that and like figure out how she feels about
Right.
Eve now. Yeah.
So favorite moments for season 2, guys? I love that part where I think it's early on when Villanelle's like stabbed in the hospital. She has to put on a pair of Crocs. And
That's really
it's a
good.
real problem.
Yeah,
for
I felt
her.
bad because I don't want to jump on that. Let's talk about Crocs some more because that's hysterical. Crocs, yeah, but they're comfortable.
It
but
really
not
hurt
for
her
a
to put them on.
fashionista like Villanelle. No, I was gonna say like the first thought that came into my head was like literally the end again. I'm like, am I gonna be that obvious as a person?
Like, I like the end. I like the big climax.
But it's good. It's good to talk about that.
Because like at the end of this season, then Villanelle shoots Eve
That's-
in the
that's-
middle of these Roman
All of it.
ruins.
Listen, every
that
single
are-
episode is padding for these moments at the end of the season finale.
Exactly.
Literally every
I
single
love
season.
a big dramatic moment.
Though
Yeah.
season
No surprise
2
to no one.
has some good stuff along the way.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
has
yeah.
that Amsterdam murder.
Yes.
Where Villanelle's wearing that pig, sexy
Yeah,
pig
we haven't
costume.
sexy pig costume. We haven't really discussed like that. Villanelle's murders are very elaborate in
yeah.
the same way, yeah, and very stylized and very interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And might be problematic in the sense that then I feel like maybe the show wanted to continuously one-up it in a way that kind of maybe got a little meh.
It does set up a dynamic. This is kind of a familiar conversation to me from Hannibal, where like if you make the crimes a set piece, like then you sort of like start like going like further and further with the violence until it's like kind of benumbing. You're like, oh, somebody got
Right.
killed in like an artistic way. I don't care. It's not as shocking as like that moment with Bill in the nightclub where you really feel it.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
So season 2 had, as far as their romance, had things like, so okay, season 1, when Eve and Villanelle had that thing with the dress, or what, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's, whenever Eve got turned on by Villanelle in season 1, she went and had sex with Nico.
Right.
In season 2, that progresses where at one point she has sex with a guy, but she lets Villanelle listen to it.
Yes.
So it's basically like a threesome in a way.
Season 2 is Eve kind of testing the boundaries, like kind
Yeah.
of going further and further, kind of with her own moral boundaries to see like
Right.
what's comfortable.
And
Yeah.
I thought that it was following a very realistic trajectory for that kind of character, which is like, let's bring Eve into Villanelle's world a little bit. So they had to team up. That's a classic. They had to like get a guy, whatever.
Who's like worse than
Yeah, he's like a
anyone,
terrible dude.
obviously. So you know that the kind of the tension here is who's going to be the one to kill him. Will it be Villanelle or will it actually be Eve?
Right. And so I think much like Hannibal, Villanelle orchestrates a thing where Eve has to kill this dude. So she has to commit a murder, which is part of like the mating ritual.
Yeah, no, Villanelle gets off on watching Eve do this.
Yeah, so like Eve axed a dude to death very violently in the finale, I guess. And Villanelle could have easily killed this guy herself. So it was like
But she
all
chose not to.
but it was all to get Eve to do this, to come to her level. I thought that was really cool and made sense totally.
Yeah, I feel like season 2, like, I feel like it's low-hanging fruit to be like, well, it wasn't Phoebe Waller-Bridge, so season 2 can't be as good. It obviously is not, like, on the same sensibility as season 1, but I think it's good. Like, I don't
know. I didn't really have
Yeah.
like when we watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there was a problem.
I remember being a little frustrated with, like, the last episode because it kind of, like, it set up all these situations and kind of, like, was a little lazy with how it actually resolved things. But that, in a way, that just speaks to how interesting those situations were, you know? It was, like...
Do you have an example?
I feel like the way, like, that... I love the whole idea of Villanelle and Eve teaming up to take down that guy, but, like, that guy kind of turns out to be so, like, such a cartoon.
That guy being, like, Villanelle's handler?
No, I don't even mean him. I mean that,
the
tech
tech guy.
Zuckerberg type guy, who's just like manipulative and has no feelings, and like, it's just literally set up in a way where you're like, well, obviously one of them is going to kill him.
But that was like that wasn't the real thing. The real thing was like Villanelle having Eve kill her handler guy.
Yeah.
But like that, the Zuckerberg guy was when Villanelle has to work with Eve to this is for the good, the team, the good team.
Yeah, it was really juicy to see Eve kind of like taking over being Villanelle's handler for a hot minute.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That was juicy stuff, and I feel like just an interesting status quo that the show kind of could have courted for longer, but actually it takes season 2 so long to get there. That like there isn't a lot of time to spend on that, and it kind of like they tie it up really fast. That's honestly my only criticism of that season. And, you know, at the time I was a little defensive because I was like, people should just like be patient, watch the show. Yes, you miss Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but like
we didn't know.
It's still doing some interesting stuff.
We did not know.
And then season 3
happened.
So
season 3 is the new showrunner here is Suzanne Heathcote, who did Fear the Walking Dead, and if you look at that part up, she did work with Kim Dickens, so that was when that happened. And I think Katie, you said she wrote some good episodes on there.
Yes, she did. So I think she was involved with season 3, which is a good season of Fear the Walking Dead. And then the episodes that I saw that she wrote, I couldn't remember one of them, but I remembered another one very clearly, and I was like, oh, that one was good and fun. So yeah.
And the costumes are by Sam Perry, and I don't really want to list any of the credits this person worked on because just I don't really know and didn't really stand out. And I think you could tell that by the show.
I did really not care for the looks.
It did not work for me for the most part.
We debated some of them. Sometimes a few passed muster. And I should say that, for the most part, when you're talking about looks, we mean Villanelle's clothes.
Yes.
And to be fair, other people looked amazing. Carolyn, fucking incredible always. DASHA had an amazing aesthetic that was always on point. But Villanelle, who, is such a high bar,
she's the one who sets the fashion trends.
And her clothes are supposed to kind of be telling a story about her character, and I thought that was so muddled this year. I just didn't really understand what they were doing most of the time.
They were kind of bland, It reminded me a little bit of when the costume designer for Game of Thrones left for a season,
which was a big deal,
and you could tell. Yeah, and then she came back, and you were like, you could tell.
Thank you.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Sam Perry, but you could have done a little bit extra.
Letting the side down a little bit.
Season 3, let's let loose on our feelings.
So for me, the major criticism I have is just Eve has nothing to do. She literally does not have a character arc this year. There's a half-hearted attempt to I don't even know, her and Nico is important while he's basically half out of the show anyway. I just was so frustrated with everything that they had for Eve, which was not much.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it reminded me a little bit of American Horror Story, which is that, like, the first episode is, like, good, and it's like, you're like, this is gonna be great, and then it just, like, goes downhill
Slowly
after
kind of
that.
Seeing her work at the Korean restaurant was fascinating.
I loved seeing her.
Seeing her step away from the life that she's suited to.
Like, I don't remember if we actually said that she gets shot at the end of season 2.
Yeah,
because
I was
like she
referencing.
rejects Villanelle.
Right.
Villanelle
And so it's like a, mirror of season 1 where, like, the stabbing happens, and so now she's like,
she's done,
like, on the lam or what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. She's literally, like, working at a Korean restaurant. She's like sad shopping at, like, a little store for her food. They're like ramen-esque kind of meals. Her apartment, I'm obsessed with it. The set decoration of her apartment here, like her sad apartment, I was literally like freaking out. It's just like a bed and a TV and like so much shit around it, including 2 rolls of toilet paper that were
right,
like,
that's a big deal. The
randomly
toilet paper.
there. It's
Yeah.
like a Pepto-Bismol, like I want to say some kind of like nasal spray, like a lot of wine, like empty bottles and whatever. It's good.
Bottom.
I was literally like freaking out. I was like, why does she need that toilet paper there? Why does she need that toilet paper there? And then she spilled the wine and used the toilet paper.
Yeah.
So it was like a thing. And yeah, like the first episode of season 3 sets up the fact that like Kenny, who is, we never mentioned him, but he worked as part of like Eve's team since season 1.
Yeah.
Recurring characters.
Yeah.
And there's like a reveal towards the end of season 1 that he's actually Carolyn's son.
Which was Sandra Oh's idea.
Oh, that's fun.
Because she was like, they have a lot in common or whatever.
That's very
so
fun.
It made her, so he's murdered, or he falls off a roof. And so you're like, whoa, Carolyn, oh no. That kind of like leads some emotional resonance throughout the season, and Carolyn gets a lot to do in season 3, like much more than she has before.
Yes,
we
it was
meet
the season of
her
Carolyn.
daughter.
We meet her daughter, Gemma Whelan, Treasure, Yara
Who
Greyjoy.
we've talked about as well, about who was on Gentleman Jack.
And Lista's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's super fun in general. I felt like she was in a bad position here.
She could have been like
killing you.
much.
She is literally kind of playing like the Newman of this show.
The Newman?
The annoying character who you love to watch other people tell her that she's annoying.
Who told? Okay, only Carolyn told her, but granted, because of this daughter existing, you realize what a horrible mother Carolyn is.
Yeah.
And that's like the point of it, I
That
think.
is the point of it, but you get that point really fast, and then you're just kind of like, why is this here?
Yeah, I don't know, but also I don't mind it. I want Gemma Whelan's character to like join the team now.
All right.
And
I mean,
be
I'd be
there.
happy to see them
Yeah.
like do something with her. I did feel like it like by the time you get to the season finale, you literally have a scene where Carolyn is telling her like you're a waste of space, and you're like,
Which is horrible.
Which is horrible, but you're like, meanwhile, you as a viewer are like, oh my god, you were like nothing happened with your character this season.
No, it reminded me
at least
of
what I did.
Sisterhood. No, not Sisterhood. It reminded me of the Yaya Sisterhood.
Not to be confused with the Yara sisterhood.
Which is like a movie I was obsessed with at one point, if you're into Sandra Bullock. But anyway, like it's a book as well. But like it's just basically about like if your mom's a crazy character, at some point you're gonna write a book about it.
So are you saying that eventually?
Yeah,
I don't even
she
know her
is
name.
Fodder.
Sister.
Yep, Yara.
Kenny's sister.
Kenny's sister. Yeah, they also had they killed Kenny, right? As a part of the
whenever anyone
they
said
did.
he killed Kenny, you're like, oh my god, so do you know the history of this phrase?
Yeah.
Why do you keep saying it?
His name was Kenny.
His name
What can you
is
do?
Kenny.
And they killed him.
They did. Yeah. So season 3, we had a lot of problems with it.
I think Villanelle's plot was more interesting than certainly anything Eve got to do. She goes back home and sees her family. I like that episode, but I did sort of feel like it exposed some weaknesses in like the character writing, in that I was not on board with Villanelle giving up killing. I just did not think that made sense. I felt like it broke the show a little bit because it's like, what is this about? if Villanelle is not.
You guys are crazy. Like, you're crazy. Clearly, that would be
I don't
an
think
arc.
I'm crazy.
Clearly, that would be something this character would try.
I think you could
and
maybe
fail.
get there eventually, but I just think the show cut corners and like did not convince me that like Villanelle would give up killing in that moment for those reasons.
Okay, maybe
I like
maybe
friend
so.
of the pod Nora's suggestion that would have been better. That what she does in that episode would have been like the end, somewhat of the end of the line for her, and that would have made her be like, okay, I'm satisfied, instead of like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, she kind of does a Xena. She's like, I feel terrible. I've killed so many people. Oh my
Better
God.
kill some more.
Like,
to make
kind
sense
of thing.
of it.
I felt like instead of it just being like kind of like satisfied and done, and then you're like, oh, well, what's she gonna do if she's done? Versus like, oh my God, I'm so guilty and sad. Like, that didn't work so well.
Yeah, and I just feel like, I don't know, for me at least, Villanelle, like, represents this kind of, like, you know, uninhibited character, and to see her kind of, like, developing inhibitions was, like, ooh.
That's where you're completely wrong. There's
We'll
no
see.
such the psychopaths who are like absolutely no explanation to them whatsoever is boring. Played by Andrew Scott.
Oh my God,
in
I knew
fucking
it would
Sherlock.
come back.
I
I knew
see.
it
I
would come
absolutely
back.
hate his Moriarty
come
take.
full
I
circle.
absolutely hate it.
You don't like
I
when
hate
a
it.
villainous character.
I hate the Joker
is just kind
in
of like
The Dark Knight.
A villain for the sake
Yes.
of it. Who's
Yes.
like, I'm an
Yes.
agent
In
of
the
chaos.
Dark Knight.
Yes,
specifically?
Joker in The Dark Knight has the point of him is that he doesn't have
can't
an
explain
explanation,
him. Yeah.
and that's what I hate because I need an explanation for my people.
What about Michael Myers?
Yeah,
He's weird as
Vera
fuck.
would not really appreciate him
I
as a
literally don't have an
character.
explanation for him because why does he come back from the dead like that?
Right on. Well, I don't know.
But anyway, I think it's so much more interesting. Like even Hannibal, where he's like made because of like
Oh,
Nazis.
don't do it. You won't win
or
this.
whatever.
Don't go there.
Even
You
that
won't win
shit.
this.
Even that shit is better than like he just woke up
better.
and he's like, I want to eat people.
I mean, this is a major kind of difference of opinion between Vera and me because I very intensely disagree. I don't like explaining why
It just has to be a good
murderous
explanation. Liv.
characters are murderous.
It
'cause
just
the
has to be a good
explanations
explanation.
Are always terrible.
Not always. Not always.
No.
Sometimes it's perfectly fine, and you actually like sympathize with them, and you're like empathize with their feelings.
I think
and it's
the
really
attempts
good.
to apply logic to a situation that, in its essence, like defies logic, they never work. It never works. That's my
Sometimes it works.
rejection of Villanelle and her mommy issues.
I believed it, man. Like it's fine. Do I like it? No, I don't. I also really hate the inconsistency of having like one Villanelle episode and like no just Eve episode.
Right.
Like,
It made it even more apparent
I
how
hate- yeah.
lopsided the show
Like I
had
hate
become.
that there was like Eve maybe had like one good episode, maybe two, like the finale and the
premiere.
first one. Yeah. So that really bugged me, and I don't understand. Like unless Sandra Oh had some other stuff to do, there was no reason for her not to be in her own show.
I feel like it exposes some tension, like in the whole like conception of the show, because you know the books are called Codename Villanelle, the show is called Killing Eve.
Right.
We
But
want
it's two of
we
them.
want Eve
Yeah.
to be Villanelle's equal, and I feel like season 3 got the balance wrong.
Maybe
Like, really wrong.
indefinitely delayed season 4 will fix it.
I hope so, with whoever is showrunning it and like their whole team.
Laura Neal, whose previous writing credit is for Sex Education.
Oh no! I hope she doesn't bring back that guy from the dead who's
who's
from
in
season
Sex
2.
Education.
Yeah.
No, he's very
He
dead.
seems dead.
But I mean, we love that show. Gillian
Me
Anderson.
too. Oh my god! Please get Gillian Anderson on here. Oh my god! Okay. Oh, this reminds me of my other super gripe with season 3, which is that they introduced DASHA, right? Who is like a former
Gymnast, of
Soviet
course.
gymnast, which of
course.
course would create an amazing like murdering machine. She and Villanelle have like a whole thing, and like when you have like two dames on the show, like why, like Carolyn and
Carolyn,
her, right?
Dame Fiona Shaw.
Yeah, like why?
Dame Harriet Walter.
And like one's on the side of the goods, one's on the side,
titans.
two
Yeah.
titans. Why not have like a big fucking like showdown at the
We
end?
all assumed it
Like
was
I thought it was
coming.
gonna be a big like showdown fight between the two of them, and it's
No.
like, no.
Not only that, but I feel like the show was just almost like mean to Dasha. Like, how dare you be so much fun? We're not going to give you anything to do, and we're going to kill you in this like kind of
We didn't
like,
see her like fully
miserable
die.
way.
She
Yeah.
might be back.
Yeah.
She might be back.
She could be
I didn't
back.
See it.
She absolutely
yeah.
could be back.
Hoping so.
Hopefully,
Crossing the
Harry
fingies.
Walter in season
Fucking
four.
Nico came back, so she
Exactly. Why?
Yeah, I can't believe that Nico died less easily than Dasha.
All right, so for season 4, we want more Eve for sure. Come back.
And yeah, just pick up the plot, which is about her attraction to Villanelle and how it fucks up her life.
Right.
Right. And I mean, I get it. Like, to me, the dynamic is that, like, yeah, okay, so the two of them are, like, on opposite teams. Then, like, one draws the other one in, the other one draws the other one in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then eventually, like, I would love to see Eve, like, working for the 12. Like, right, we already had Villanelle slightly working for MI6.
That's cool.
So, like, let's bring Eve into the 12 here. Like, let's like, do the whole thing right there. It just, I don't know. I understand them padding it out because you can't just, like, have them be together. It's that whole dynamic, right? The moonlighting sort of dynamic.
Kind of
Well,
is.
yeah, and that's why I think maybe decreasingly wasn't as interesting as season 1. Which is a theory about television that I argue against a lot, because I do think you can put people together and have it still be interesting, but I think that this show specifically was better when it was a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not to say that I don't want to say that I'm saying that it shouldn't be, like, overtly queer. I am saying that, and season 1 was. But that, like,
but because it was so overtly queer, it's like, it has to happen. You can't just, like, not ever have it. Because it's like,
their
it was
scene on the
too
bus
overtly.
in season 3
Right.
was
But it's just sort of, I don't know, it's a whole thing. And it's too late now to get into, like, the discourse after season 1. So, or the discourse after season 2. No discourse here.
But, like, every season sort of gives you a thing that's like, oh man, it's
gonna
happening. And then, like, they can't do it yet or whatever. But they better fucking eventually do it. Because
I'd at this point rather they just pull the trigger and do it, and, like, you know, like we've been saying, is that actually, you know, will they, won't they? Sure, it's interesting, but, like, relationships are interesting too, and it would be actually fascinating to see them together, see what, like, you know, that influence is like when it's like physically and, you know, emotionally consummated, and see where they grow from there.
Maybe season 4.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll happen.
I do feel like it's stagnant right now. That's part of the issue.
Yeah, for sure. I think season 3 really didn't know what they were doing, and for sure it was like a really huge padding season. But I have hopes. I have hopes for season 4.
It's got great potential.
Yeah,
And,
Sex
know,
Education
obviously
is a really great show.
Sex Education
On Netflix.
is really fun.
Oh yeah,
So-
and if you haven't seen Killing Eve, first 2 seasons are available on Hulu.
And
Eventually,
BBC America.
Yeah, it's a BBC America sort of show. And eventually, like, I guess season 3 will be on there too. Oh, the other thing I want to say is that, well, our recommendation, we'll probably put on our Twitter, is like these 2 really great vids
Yes.
our friend Jero made for Killing Eve. He's
I think
like,
we actually did call them out in our
Bidding?
episode.
Episode.
We did?
Yeah.
But never
but more
heard-
specifically
yeah.
to Killing Eve in the episode, we must.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jero is one of the founders of TGIFM Slash, and amazing series that he makes, the Killing Eve Swiftly,
Killing Eve swiftly.
which is Killing Eve
swiftly
with this.
his
No, I have nothing to do with it.
So it's like per like season kind of vids to Taylor Swift songs.
Yes.
but like it's really good.
It
The
works
first one
so well.
is
So well.
I Did Something Bad. The
Yes.
second one is Look What You Made Me Do, which, as we have mentioned previously, that song I associate in my brain with a fake Xena and Callisto vid that I'm never going to make. So the dynamic,
It's
as you see,
legit.
is
It's
legit.
legit.
It definitely works
Yeah.
for them
Look What
as
Made
well.
You, Look What You Made Me Do is my
very
Xena
good.
Callisto song.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Jero can do like a cardigan. I don't know. Just brainstorming.
We'll see. We'll see what happens
For season 3.
Season
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
All right.
Folklore's not the vibe.
Yeah, folklore is not
we'll
the
see.
vibe.
We'll
It's
see
really
what
not.
happens.
It's
But
really
I
not.
would love to see it kind of go there.
Yeah,
Eventually.
maybe. I would, if the
Yes.
project goes there, I
Yes.
think it will be great.
So thank you so much, Jennifer, for your patronage and for suggesting this episode. We love Killing Eve, although we clearly have problems with it.
I mean,
I
But so does everybody, right?
Such is
So does
life,
everybody.
yeah.
But we still watch it, and we're gonna watch whenever it comes back. It's like, ride or die. And follow us on all the stuff and things, guys.
yeah, we're xenawarriorpodcast.com. You can find everything you could ever possibly want there. We are on Apple Podcasts and, wherever you listen to podcasts, basically you can find us. On Apple Podcasts, you can leave reviews and rate, which we love to see and helps people find the podcast. It's cool. We are on Twitter at Xena Warrior Pod and Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Xena Warrior Podcast. Boga bra.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.